everyone, it's Greenlight Cinema! And who's ready for another review? For Fargo, Episode 5, Part 2! Oh, crap! Hey everyone, welcome to Greenlight Cinema. It's so good to have you guys back with me. Alright, today we're going to discuss Fargo, Season 2, Episode 5, and this is Part 2 for my review. We see Ed and Noreen, is where I stopped it at, and she's talking about like her book or whatever, unless I'm dead, and all this, and he's like, I don't want to hear this, I'm getting away from this nonsense. Cut to, we see Charlie about ready to get out of the car, about ready to face Ed the Butcher.
Gonna die anyway.
What do you mean? I'm gonna go in the back now, away from this nonsense. So please let me know what's back.
I will. Guess I'm dead.
What are you waiting for? You want that I should carry you over there?
I was just,
None of this looks like it's going to be a good idea, and it's not. So now we see Charlie, and he's going to be, he's coming in there, proud Gerhardt's got something to prove, but he gets a little distracted by Noreen, and they start to flirt.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you.
Oh, Charlie, you and Noreen look like y'all are about the same age. Why don't you just leave this whole Gerhardt operation, hop off, which I'm pretty sure is what he wants to do. But unfortunately, things don't go as planned, and he sees Ed, and when he sees Ed, it's honestly really comical, because his vision of Ed, makes you think of when you're young and you see someone, when I was young, I was small, like a real small kid, so I could kind of relate to Charlie in some way when I seen this scene, and he was terrified, absolutely terrified when he sees Ed.
looking for the butcher, Blomquist.
Yeah, he's not the butcher. More the assistant butcher. Though...
Sorry, was just in the middle of a hawk.
Charlie looks absolutely terrified, and it's hilarious. It's not funny about this whole situation, but just how he characterizes Ed, and how Ed is sweet and nice, kind of. And he just got meat. And who could blame the kid? Cut to, we see Peggy now packing. Now, revisiting this, I didn't notice this, but it looks like she's leaving Ed or something. Maybe she's going to her thing to Sioux Falls. I don't know. And here as the audience, we see her character being redeemed. She's starting to think of the outcome, the consequences. She knows deep in her heart that it would be wrong to leave Ed and make him deal with all this by himself. They're in this together.
You want to buy my car?
What do you mean?
Well, you said it was sweet, and we gotta buy the shop.
Did she just say shock?
We could use the money.
She said shock instead of saying shop. They'll just keep going. But yeah, Sonny buys a car, and she gets the money back.
Just now.
And happy trails for her, she thinks, for her and Ed. Cut 2, we have we see the Gerhardts at their house. We just see Bear and Hansi talking actually, and Bear, he's just wanting to double check his facts and everything. He said that his mom's really upset about hearing about Rye, and he wanted to double check his facts. And I think it's interesting because he does this to make sure Dodd's not around. But then Dodd shows up.
I know you're mostly his guy, but I just want you to know there's a place for you at our table with or without him. All you gotta do is be straight with us.
I'm straight.
Oh, of course, it's just we just escalated this war on account of information you found out about Rye.
Bear knew that information was false
I have to just
from the
double-check
beginning.
the veracity of it. We're too far over the breach.
My daughter back. What the hell are you doing? Get back to work. That's my man. You need to talk to him, you talk to me first.
I just want to mention, like in my last video, I don't know if you remember, but at the table when Dodd and Hansi are just, coming up with this little, story off the top of their heads, Bear knew something wasn't right, and he knew in his heart that he had to question Hansi without Dodd being there, or and then Dodd showed up, like, of course. Anyway, cut 2, we see Lou and the Reagan detail going on. Ronald Reagan's doing his speeches, and he mentions Operations Eagle's Nest, which is funny because in one of my reviews I mentioned that Molly was watching Operations Eagle's Nest. I'm not sure, I believe that's episode 3, but we'll have to go back and find out and check. But Lou mentions to him, and I think this is a pretty interesting analogy. Lou always has these like really deep thoughts, I think, even throughout season 1, and we see in season 2. But he mentions that to Ronald Reagan that the sickness in this world, he don't think it's maybe like causing his wife to be sick. I'm not saying that it's exactly what he said verbatim, but it's just a pretty interesting thing. And he asked him, he's like, do you really think we'll be able to get out of this? He's like, there's not a thing an American can't accomplish. I truly believe that. He's like, yeah, but how? It's like, well, cut 2.
I've got lymphoma, stage 3, and lately, the state of things, well, sometimes late at night, I wonder if maybe the sickness of this world, if it isn't inside my wife somehow. I think the cancer. I don't know what I'm saying, except, do you really think we'll get out of this mess we're in?
Son, there's not a challenge on God's earth that can't be overcome by an American. And I truly believe that.
Yeah. But how?
Cut 2, and now here's a really sweet little scene I like. I think it's really neat. We see Betsy. She's took her Xanadu, and she's looking at a drawing, and she notices she sees like Lou, her, and Molly, and the camera pans down, and it's like a UFO, and I thought that was a neat little thing. And then she all of a sudden we hear it's like kind of like tension, and the tension's broke. Molly, she comes in the room, and we see Ted dance, and I love any stuff with him. And he is like, well, and I didn't get to show it, but his car was in the first scene of this part right here, and he said that he had knocked on the door, and he didn't hear anything, so Molly let him in.
me? Saw Molly in the window.
Not. You didn't hear?
No?
Well, got worried, so I let myself in. Make a nuisance. Are you hungry? I can fix you something.
You're sweet. I just now trying to decide if I'm hungry or if I want to throw up.
Don't normally confuse the two.
I know we didn't need all that exposition right there, but I think this is a really sweet scene with sweet characters, and I just wanted to show this in my review. But yeah, I like this little scene right here with Ted Danson, Hank, and Betsy, his daughter, and they're just kind of like talking about things, and he picks on Molly.
Your mom were here, she'd know just what to say. Me, I can fix the toaster.
Well, maybe just, do you think maybe you could watch Mally for a bit? I just thought, I'm not sure I can keep my eyes open right now for some reason.
Watch who?
Me.
Who?
Me.
Oh, what the heck?
Thank you, Dad.
Yeah, sure, you get some rest. We'll just be here eating sugar cereal and playing with my service weapon. What the heck is that?
That's a little sweet scene with real characters, you know, real relatable characters that we can relate to as the audience. I love that. Cut to, now we see Charlie trying to call home, looking for his dad, but his dad's not there. And they don't ever say who he's on the phone with, but I have started to wonder, revisiting this episode, if he wasn't talking to Dodd or something. I don't know, just the way he's talking to the person on the phone, but he finds out his dad's not there, and Charlie's trying to get off the phone. He enters a butcher shop, and it gets crazy.
I'm ready for school to go back. I want to go, like he said.
Gerhardt man's like, hey, come on, kid, let's go ahead and kill this butcher and go to lunch already. And here we go again with a series of wacky events that's going to hurt our protagonist, our main character. And also the Gerhardt boy. I kind of care about him. I feel bad for him in this situation. But this whole situation propels completely out of control along with the fire. And here comes the Gerhardt man from behind the door ready to kill Ed. Yeah, take that. Beat him up, Ed. Ed beats him up real good. Charlie gets shot or passes out or something. But Ed beats him up real good, knocks him out, and kills him real good for us. I loved how everybody's joined in. It's so Fargo. She punched that guy in the face with a piece of meat. Ed's about to murder this man for, you know, coming in here and ruining his shop and putting his hands on Maureen. Good for you, Ed. Keep beating him up. Kill him. Do it. Yeah, that'll teach you to mess with Ed the butcher. Poor Noreen looks like she's about to faint, but thankfully she actually gets Ed to help Charlie get out.
I saved the kid, didn't I? Didn't I? And he shot first? Did you tell the cops that? And the big guy, he came at me and then it was self-defense? Yeah?
Of course. But Ed!
Alright, moving on. Boy, that was really intense. Whew. So, cut to, now we see Dodd, and he's been waiting for Simone. You know, she went to go visit Mike Milligan in over at the Pearl Hotel. And, excuse me. Okay. And he stops her and does his little whistle he always does. And I mentioned this before, and we talked about this, I believe, in the Fargo group, that maybe like something weird like with Dodd, like that he might probably abuse her in a type of way, and like it's kind of alluded here in this scene, but Floyd, thank goodness, cuts to, comes and stops that to a halt.
Being grown's got a price. Kid gets slapped when he's bad. When you're grown, you get the fist. Or the knife.
Son. You let that girl alone. Get upstairs now, darling.
And we see Lou checking out Bud's butcher shop being burned down. We see Hank talking to Maureen right here, and Charlie's being put into the ambulance. Okay, we're at our final scene here, and here's our two main protagonists, and they're possibly, they're definitely on the two opposite pages, because in the last in the first part of this episode 5, Peggy's talking about packing. Now he's coming in the house wanting to pack because he's absolutely terrified. He knows the Gerhardts are coming. He's like, Lou's right. He's right the whole time. You know, we gotta pack up and everything. And then as he starts to calm her down, because she's just like, the whole time she's like, look, I got money, so you can buy your butcher shop. Dreams come true.
And where's the luggage we need to pack?
Han,
Yeah, we need.
I got a surprise for you.
That's okay, but we need to.
No, we don't gotta go. No, listen, I want to know. This is important. What I'm trying to say is, you were right. I mean, we were both right, but you also is what I'm. Not just me, in other words, and what you said about the shop and the money.
The shop burned down.
What?
And I killed another fella, maybe two. And Lou was right. They came. The other fella that you hit, his family, they came.
Alright, everyone. That was my YouTube review for Fargo, Episode 5, Part 2, Season 2. If you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel for some more awesome Fargo reviews. We got 4 more episodes to go. Alright, thank you. Stay clean. And everyone, stay inside. Let's beat this virus together, Lord's willing. You know what I mean? We're gonna beat it. We're gonna beat it, y'all. We're gonna beat it. Oh, my back. Made in Stewart, Virginia, y'all.